Good morning. It's day 11 of our traveling working adventure. We're still in Taipei, but today we're going to Jiufen. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, so I'm very sorry. Another area, it's not too far out of Taipei, so we're going to be traveling there today and staying for the night. I'm excited because it's supposed to be very, very pretty. So I just did some work this morning, but this is really going to be one of the first no work days. We're planning to go there today and stay the night and then come back tomorrow. And we're planning to not work the whole time, mostly because we just want to travel really light. We don't want to bring our stuff with us. And I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm definitely someone who is sort of paranoid about needing my laptop at all times. So hopefully I don't let my anxiety about that ruin the fun. The reason we decided to stay the night is because it's just supposed to be really pretty at night. And we were not sure we'd be able to enjoy all of that, but also get back to the city by the time the trains stop running. So excited for that adventure today. This is all I'm packing for the day and the night. Just this backpack. Okay, so we just finished our day exploring Jiufen, and I really think this is probably the first big disappointment of the trip. I was looking forward to this more than Bran because I'd just seen pictures and stuff, and I'd read a couple blog posts, and I was excited to go to the tea house and stuff like that. I think there's probably about three main reasons for why this didn't quite work out for us. The first reason is the fact that we planned to go specifically on a day that it wasn't raining. We were trying to get better weather, and the weather forecast did say it's not raining the entire day. It looked like it wasn't raining, but it definitely was still very wet. It was drizzling the whole time. It was super cold, windy, wet, which also made all of the stairs and walkways very wet too, which was a little terrifying because some of them were pretty narrow and a little hard to navigate, especially with the crowds. And that's annoying, but I can live with that. It was more the fact that part of what's kind of cool about this place would be exploring and walking around outside, and that was kind of unpleasant. The weather really didn't help the situation. The second thing is really the crowds. The crowds are crazy. I mean, maybe the fact that it's a Sunday didn't help us. I can just imagine on days with better weather, it's even more crazy here. I mean, I can't blame people for wanting to come here. It's not like I'm mad that other people want to be here. we're all tourists here, like that's fine. It just made it hard to really enjoy anything because you were like trying not to like fall on someone, or you're getting kind of like shoved around, and you just feel like you're shuffling slowly everywhere you go. Not that I need a power walk or something, but it felt hard to like look around and take everything in when you're worried about tripping over someone else or like getting pushed around in the crowd. These streets are pretty narrow, and that's again part of the charm, but that also makes it more difficult to like step to the side or whatever to kind of take things in if you want. The crowd's not great. The third thing that I really am just not loving is, I mean, it's a tourist trap. It's a tourist trap, and I was hoping that it wouldn't be, or I thought maybe some of it would be, but I think most of it just wasn't really that great. I mean, all the food we've had pretty much hasn't been good. Everything's really overpriced, which again, I understand, like we're in a smaller town, we're in an area like further away. It's not crazy that they need to have more expensive prices. It's not like we're in the middle of Taipei right now, but still, it's just way more expensive for like way worse quality. It really feels like you're walking through a crowded mall most of the time, which is not really like what I'm after when I'm traveling. And I think the reason I didn't think that this would be the case was A, like a lot of the blogs I read didn't really like go into anything like this too much. And B, I've lived in San Francisco for over 10 years, and there are places in San Francisco that are super touristy, and like I do not recommend going. But there are places that are super touristy that I still go to, that I love, that are enjoyable and worth it, but they are touristy, and that's fine. I was kind of hoping it would be like that, where it would be, yes, like it's touristy, there are people taking photos and whatever. There are genuinely cool things as well. And I just don't think that that's true here as much. Don't get me wrong, the tea house we went to, I really enjoyed. That was great. It's beautiful. The tea was good. The little snacks were good. I loved that. And I'm sure a lot of the other tea houses are just as good. I'm sure there is better food here, but we looked up places that were recommended that were highly rated, and they were not anything to get excited about. They were like triple the price of better food we've had in Taipei. And we decided to stay the night here because we wanted to see everything at night, which is part of what's cool about it. But oh, guess what? Everyone else also wants to do that. So it's still pretty crowded. We really could have just come here for a few hours. We could have done all of this in a lot less time. We could have just gone back for the night. We, in theory, could probably still do that, but I think what we're gonna do is just stay here and see how things are in the morning. So if the weather's bad, we'll just head back, and if it's good, we'll try and like explore and enjoy the view a little bit before we leave. Maybe see if the whole area is a little more quiet in the morning. The things that I liked was I did like the tea house. I do think it is very beautiful here, and being up in the mountains, being in a different place, like that's cool. I'm not knocking all that. If I knew what I knew now, I might have still come here, but I definitely would not have stayed the night, and I maybe would have been more determined to come during the week and not do it the way we did. To be fair, part of the reason we were trying to time it that way was weather reasons and work related reasons. But yeah, I think if I did this all over again, I would structure it a little differently and probably just not come here for as long. But even still, I really think that as pretty as it is, I think it's worth skipping. I think there's probably better things to do than that. Yeah, so, first disappointment of the trip. The one thing that is so silly is that one of the great things that we did find here is the hotel. The hotel's great. The hotel is super cheap. It's clean, it's nice, and it's not that far. I think it's quiet up here. I think you can even pay a little bit extra for a room with like a mountain view. I mean, the hotel's great. but we don't really need it. You know, we really should have just probably gone back to the city instead of staying here. I mean, other things on the trip haven't been perfect for sure, but I think this is really the first big thing that we're like, oh, we're gonna do this activity, and we're like, it's okay, it's not really that good. And we have friends of ours that are joining us. We're like trying to convince them not to go because they only have so much time in Taiwan, and it's like, don't waste all your time coming here. It's just, if I was only here for a couple of days, I would definitely skip this. I would not do it. Um, Unless you are a very hardcore Instagram girly and that is your number one priority, then okay, fair enough. Like, I guess you should come here, but yeah, I really don't think I would do it this way. And I think that the shorter, maybe all day tours that go to a couple different stops, that's probably a better way to do this than the way we did it. But even then, I have a feeling those places are going to be just as touristy and not, maybe not that enjoyable. But that's not to say, if that's your thing, if that's a kind of thing you like to do on a trip, like go stop somewhere, take some photos, like go on and experience the next thing, and you really like to keep things moving, that's fine. Like, that's not my style, but I know people that that very much is what they like to do on a trip. They really want to see as much as possible. They're happy to just be somewhere for a little bit, take a couple pictures and move on. I think just the way we like to travel, what we like to do. And I know I'm a tourist and I'm fine with being a tourist. I have no problem with that. I think it just is kind of unfortunate when you're like, oh, okay, like that's all that's happening here. Like, this is more or less just a tourist spot. This is very much a city that's been transformed by the people coming in and out on like tour groups and stuff every single day. Nothing wrong with that. Like, there are reasons that people go to tourist spots because they have something really great to go experience. But I think for me, I would need a little bit more than just that. That's not the main reason I like to travel. I felt kind of bad because it was a little bit of my idea to come out here. And it's like, oh, it kind of feels like a letdown. You know, it's bound to happen. This is gonna happen again, I'm sure. But again, this is why you can't trust everything you see on the internet. And on the other side, like Bran was saying, yeah, we feel a little disappointed about this. But if we'd gone on a shorter tour and not stayed as long as we decided to stay, we might have done that and been like, oh, we didn't get to go to the tea house we wanted. Oh, you know, if we'd been able to explore a few hours more, we would have really enjoyed it. We might have still felt like we were missing something. As much as this is not really the experience we were looking for, now we do really know that for a fact. Like, we feel like we did everything and saw everything. We really have the full picture now. It's not like our trip is completely ruined by something like this. It's like, obviously not, that'd be stupid. But yeah, just wanted to like give my reaction. And if you're someone who is thinking about coming here and you're someone who like finds really touristy places, very crowded places where almost the main thing to do is just take a million photos, if that's something you don't like, I would skip it. Yeah, I would spend my time elsewhere if that's just not really your thing. This is our first time in Taiwan and we're just figuring it all out. Let me know if there's other places that you would recommend that are kind of like Jiufen, but maybe don't have the same issues that we were running into. I'd be curious to know if there are other places that would kind of get some of the charm and beauty without the crowds. But if you have recommendations, like, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. And as always, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.